Okay, thank you very much, Eva, and hi to everybody who's also remotely. And then the session's being recorded, and if you're watching it later, very nice to meet you. And we're going to talk about Crosswork Cloud today, and 30 minutes. So I'm going to talk fast. And here we go. Randolph Tsien, right? I'm product manager for Crosswork Cloud. Today is Thursday, May 23rd. I'm broadcasting live from Stockholm. Okay, great. Just the first things first, we're going to have an exam later, right? I think the things that we're going to cover here is BGP, right? Border Gateway Protocol. Some people like to call it beautiful, gorgeous, and pretty. Anyway, and ASN prefixes, NetFlow, and Zero Trust. And we're going to touch on how Crosswork Cloud can be integrated with Crosswork on-premise solutions. That's how we differentiate ourselves. Okay, so what does Crosswork Cloud do for everybody, right? We are visibility and analytics. We help people reduce the time to know so that we send notifications, we have APIs, and then from there, you can use, we can do actionable events so that you can use the NSOs, CNCs to do the action into the network so that you can do a full closed loop automation, which I'll go into a little bit more detail. I think most of the people here are developers, and we'll show you how we can use our notification endpoints, send information to data lakes, and also how you can use the Crosswork Cloud API, REST, and GNMI, gRPC streaming APIs to do things so that you can have more development work and more entertainment. Okay, just want to do a quick overview of what Crosswork Cloud is. Crosswork Cloud is a SaaS platform. We're part of the Crosswork portfolio. To access that is crosswork.cisco.com if you want to get to it. We support Chrome browser and Safari browsers. Sorry, Chrome and Firefox. Safari is coming shortly. And then we have three solutions that can be used independently. Is the Network Insights, which is about external route analysis. And then the second solution is traffic analysis. This is NetFlow on the edge of the network, on the internet gateways. And then the third solution is Trust Insights. This is about router integrity and continuous audit and compliance checking for somebody who's deploying the iOS solutions in there. Okay, Network Insights is the easiest to deploy because we have a global network of route sensors collecting BGP updates from our partners. And the customer only needs to use the Chrome or Firefox browsers, and using Express setup, you can be up and running in minutes. These are vendor independent because it's protocol based. And then for traffic analysis, this is a multi-vendor solution. This also came through an acquisition. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Network Insights' predecessor is BGP Mon and also BGP Stream, if you're familiar with that. Traffic analysis, it's a multi-vendor solution. This came from the acquisition called Singularity. We do NetFlow and IPFix, and we do top talkers on the internet gateways, tracking traffic based on ASN prefixes, devices, and interfaces. And we have that information. You can see where the congestion may be. And some of the things that we do very well is peering management and also peer prospecting, so to figure out which is the next internet gateway that if you are growing your traffic quite a bit. Traffic analysis leverages something called the CDG, Crosswork Data Gateway, which is also used by the Crosswork on-prem solutions. It's the same exact code base, but these are not shareable. Once you deploy this for Crosswork Cloud, then that CDG is dedicated to Crosswork Cloud, versus if you deploy a CDG for Crosswork on-premise, then it's only usable by the on-premise solution. For the cloud portion, once it's deployed, there's no user management. It will automatically upgrade the solution whenever there's an update. And then Trust Insights, this is currently supporting iOS XR7 gear for people to do hardware integrity checking, software KGVs, known good values. So it's very security focused. So if we deploy these boxes on the edge or inside the network, so we focus very heavily on the security side of this. This also leverages the Crosswork Data Gateway, which is installed on premise. One big difference between Crosswork Cloud and Crosswork on-premise is we cover all segments of industry. 30% of our business for Crosswork Cloud is service provider, whereas 90% of the customers for Crosswork on-premise is service providers. So you can see some notification endpoints. I want to go through how do you access the solution. We have 4 ways to access the solution. From the GUI, you set it, and then you use troubleshooting and forensic analysis through the GUI. Second way to access the solution is we have notification endpoints. You set up alarms, policies to get information coming in. So email, SMS in a traditional sense. And then if you're into chat ops, PagerDuty, Slack channels, WebEx Teams, Microsoft Teams. And then if you have data lakes, you can pump the information in AWS 3 or Google Storage. And that is typically integrated with ServiceNow or Splunk. We have many customers using that. And then now with the Obsidian acquisition, people can use Obsidian Skylight to process that information. That's the second way. The third way is GNMI and REST APIs. People do development this all day long. I'll showcase some of the large service provider customers who use our APIs out the wazoo. So they heavily use that. One fourth item here is automated reporting. We can do report generation on a daily basis so that people have something in inbox. Those are the 4 ways to have access to the solution. And just the catchphrase, right? Crosswork Cloud is end-to-end network visibility and security, or end-to-end network security and visibility, depending on which is more important to you. Okay, so just kind of quickly summarize the solutions, and then we'll dive into the API portion shortly. So network insights, what do we address? In the BGP world, everybody's heard about the AT&T, Rogers, Facebook, and a lot of outages. Some of these are human caused, or some of the things are bad actors, right? Some of the things that we do really well is real-time BGP updates. This BGP is not internal network BGP, it's the external network BGP. So human error, there's a huge social media giant that was out for 5.5 hours. You have all the traditional network management system. No issues. No fiber cut, no flooding, no router failure, but it's something on the outside of the world. Because they withdrew all their prefixes, they disappear from the internet, right? And so we can catch it with network insights, but unfortunately at that time they didn't use our solution yet. Some of the differentiators that we do real-time BGP updates because these events only last about 7 minutes, and you want to get that process very quickly. Looking glass and alarms, these are the ways that you can look what's happening right now and then also in the future. So you do a subscription to generate these events and alerts. Besides BGP monitoring, we do a lot of peer monitoring, RPK monitoring, and DNS monitoring, so that we have expanded the scope since the BGP Mondays, in case you're curious about what we do. And then we have a 1:30 hands-on lab session that you can take a look at. And then just a quick summary on traffic analysis, right? Top talkers, based on, we have many popular solutions around customers around the world, right? Top talkers based on ASN, prefixes, devices, and interfaces. Traffic stats and history. Network insights and traffic analysis, we both keep history up to 90 days so that you can look at three months of information to troubleshoot anything that if you didn't catch it in the first time. Okay? And then we do peer management. And then, of course, if you have any load balancing, if your internet gateways need to load balance because of traffic throughout the day, morning traffic, evening traffic, they all look different. So you can use this to get threshold alerts and then use NSO and the CNCs to come do this. And then the third one, this is hardcore security. It's a Cisco proprietary solution, and Cisco is the only game in town. In case any service provider says, I have government contracts, I have military contracts, I have financial customer contracts. I want to offer a differentiated service. How can I give a secure network, right? Through the hardware, because you can do access control lists, but that's only access control list. What about a piece of hardware? The hardware and then software. Software, install it. People do network audits all the time. Okay, great. But you only do that one time a year. With Trust Insights, we do that continuously, 365. So we keep track of history in that sense too. So this is a true differentiator for Cisco if you are going into network infrastructure security, or sometimes we like to call it a ZTNA, Zero Trust Network Architecture. Yeah, and then many other use cases down here. Okay, here's a sample list of the customers that we have, because Automation Developer Days is most service provider focused. You can see some of the well-known service providers that we have: AT&T, British Telecom, Deutsche Telekom, Claro, SFR, Reliance Jio, Telstra, Telefonica. So we have the who's who in the service provider space. And then, of course, we have many customers in the enterprise space. And then if you want to look on the left-hand side, we have Google, Microsoft, and Amazon using the solution. They are powerful development houses. Why do they need to use the software? Because we generate analytics. We collect real-time data. That's ever-changing. That's why some of these customers, they'll subscribe to the service. Even though they have their own in-house development, they want to use a third party to complement that, because your view is different from my view and different from Eva's view. So the more views, the better. It's like building consensus, right? Everybody here, at least 98% of the customers here use the Network Insights solution. We have also marquee accounts for traffic analysis, also Trust Insights. And those are all very great ways to do integration. I'll show you some of the cases. Okay, this one just to flash how the solution is configured, right? We have different tiers for Network Insights, Essentials, Advantage, and Premier tiers, and some of the features, and also traffic analysis and Network Insights, Trust Insights. These are just a flash, so in case anybody has any questions, they can reach out to us afterwards. So where's the money if you're in the development space, right? Crosswork Cloud is a cross-architecture SaaS solution because we do analytics, we do security, and then we do network automation. So Crosswork Cloud redefines SaaS, right? Security, anomalies, analytics, and service. And the service part is the key part. It can be managed services, it's professional services, and also a lot of development integration services because people want to automate the process. And many times this is going to help a service provider themselves to do automation, make their network more efficient to be managed, and then they can also resell the service to some of the customers to make the customers happy and retain the customers so that they don't switch out. And just to share with you how big is this space, right? There's 82,000 active autonomous system numbers, right? Autonomous is a big word in developer days. And then there are millions of XR7 devices. So this is where we can go. And you saw some of the things. This is a huge number, 82,000 potential. Okay, so Crosswork Cloud plus Crosswork on-premise. Oh, just to make a quick comment, right? Because I do hijack detection, the Crosswork team hijacks Crosswork Cloud because they think they have the entire portfolio. Sorry, that was a little bit of a joke, but just in case. So Crosswork Cloud plus Crosswork on-premise, that's how we differentiate ourselves, but we belong in the same portfolio. And Crosswork on-premise, usually from the Crosswork Cloud perspective, they do the action. And then Crosswork Cloud, we provide the visibility and insights. We don't do the action. That's why we have a lot of things that you can do from a development perspective. I call it 100+1 cases that you can do so that you can leverage the NSO CNC deployments to do more action. And there's a lot of great consulting services. And with that, I think even with the Crosswork Workflow Managers, that's going to help a lot with the router automation kit, which was announced in New York City Developer Days in December of last year. This is just a summary slide on how the two sides work, right? In the blue box, this is everything that's in the Crosswork on-premise, right? The CNCs, the NSOs, the WAN automation engine, workflow manager, and hierarchical controller, EPNM. On the left-hand side in the green box is Crosswork Cloud. 3 independent solutions, they can be consumed together, and you can see the events using REST and gRPC APIs to do the integration together. A lot of times people go, hey, Randolph, what are you talking about here? The blue pill or the green pill? Like Matrix movie, right? But anyway, so this is how it works. And just a reminder, CDG, once it's deployed for Crosswork on-premise, it's going to behave differently from the CDG that is deployed for Crosswork Cloud, even though it's the exact same code base. During the installation setup, that is it. And Crosswork Cloud, in many ways, you can think of this as a critical strategic anchor solution because these businesses can be highly transactional. You can close the deal in 2 to 4 weeks. And once the customer deploys, then they go, I need some automation. Then they bring in the Crosswork on-premise. And because this is multi-vendor, many times the Crosswork Cloud solution is the only Cisco presence at a multi-vendor environment. Okay? Cool. Continuing forward, Crosswork Cloud in a zero-trust network architecture. How do we accomplish that? So what we're going to talk about is Trust Insights. Why is it easy? Why is this easy to deploy? We have many Cisco IOS XR7 routers, NCS 540, NCS 5500, ASR 9K, and 8K devices. They ship in volumes. And there is a RTM license that is attached with it. It's gifted so that customers have 3 years. Depending on when it's shipped, some of the licenses have been expiring. So to deploy this, they don't really need to purchase anything. Just get some development integration work done, and then this is going to help the customer without spending too much OpEx money. They can do a secure slice of the network. They can do network source of truth, right? You want to make sure the network is safe. Inventory system doesn't know about security. Trust Insights is a security-focused solution, so we can tell you if this device is secure, and we audit that on a daily basis. over 365 days, right? And then continuous network compliance auditing. I think in Europe, some of the countries like the Telecom Security Act in the UK, you need to report any issues, so we can really help people in doing that. And people spend a lot of money for network security audit, a couple $1 million at a time. We can help them reduce this a little bit so that they can focus that energy on some other parts of the network. Okay. Insights integration. So using Trust Insights as part of the integration, these are some of the use cases. I'll show you how the API works, and then we can leverage the workflow manager or a CNC and also NSO to do that for the action. I think a zero-touch provisioning. This is one of the first ones. People go, hey, great! I got a lot of these iOS XR devices coming in. How can I bring it into my portfolio of manageability with NSO and then also add it into Trust Insights? So zero-touch provisioning, and then followed by that is if there's any OS upgrades, because after deployment they want to make sure they have the latest version iOS XR. We can verify as a quote-unquote third party, because you can verify in these systems, but we can double check on that. And then configuration update. This is configuration update, not the router configuration. But let's say I go into the box and I use some scripts, Python scripts, to make sure everything's working, and I forgot to remove it after the installation. Okay, well, we can detect foreign files, and then if somebody changed the configuration at a later date, we can detect hash configurations. All these things can be alerted, becoming events, so that Crosswork Cloud and Crosswork on-prem works together, and then secure inventory. In case you have a inventory system that's not on this slide, we can help you accomplish that too. Okay, so jumping in a little bit quickly to see if you want to, as shown in the earlier slide, crosswork.cisco.com is where you can get. You can sign up for a free account and have access to the APIs over here. So this is just a screenshot of what we can do using the REST APIs getting started. I'll go through some screens to show you what's available. We have a lot of sample code, right? Cool. So this is the sample code that we have for Trust Insights that you can look at. So it makes it very easy for people to do that. And I think we're also building some stuff for the RAK stuff. Hey, Christopher. Yeah, and over here is the Trust Insights API version 1, getting credentials. So you can see, I think if you go into a login account, you can find out more details. I'll show you on the next screen. So this is all the sample code that really helps. Depending on the tier of the solution that you get, if it's the free tier, you have access to the APIs but no technical support. If you do the Advantage or the Premier tier, as shown earlier, then you get technical support in case you're writing some script and you want somebody to help you troubleshoot. That is a possibility. Okay. So these are all the APIs that we work with, right? This is the second way that Crosswork Cloud works with Crosswork on-premise. The first way is when we send an event over, and then using the workflow manager, and then from the workflow manager with the route automation kit, then you trigger all the events. And this is after the event's done, then they have access to this API. Said, give me more detail. I want to know more before I take the action. Okay, great. Wow, I'm going fast. Crosswork Cloud and Smart Peering Management. So these are other use cases. The Trust Insights ones is the easiest. Why? Because the customer already has a license. They already have Trust Insights installed, but one of the biggest issues is awareness. I have this thing, how do I use it? Now you know, and then you can do this and do integration to do a lot of automation. Right, okay. So with Crosswork and Smart Peering Management, how do we do this? This is working with Crosswork Cloud Network Insights, the successor to BGPmon. If somebody has used BGPmon before, they will understand, because it's all about route hijack detection, route leak detection, right? Human error, just to make sure everything's good, right? That big social media giant, if they had something like that, they said, hey, you disappeared from the internet, what can I do for you? And we can work it from there and automate that process. And here are some screenshots for some of the capabilities that can dig in deeper on troubleshooting to find out what issues there are if you want to go through the GUI on an operational sense, because the event already happened even though you have taken care of, and then you can come and look. Okay, and this is how you would do using Network Insights to do automation, some of the use cases that you have. So Crosswork Cloud, interacting, using events, going to Crosswork on-premise. Some of the cases of prefix erroneous propagation termination. This happens a lot. Most of the time, people are pretending to be Amazon, pretending to be Microsoft, pretending to be Amazon, Google, because they fat-fingered. So they want to terminate that. But sometimes they pretend Amazon, Google, and they pretend to be somebody else. I call it identity theft, but inadvertently. So this is a good way. But this happens, and sometimes you have a real hijack event. Cryptocurrency, social media giant, they only last 7 minutes. Okay, great. I have an event. I'm at lunch. Hey, Eva, can you help me on this? Oh, sorry, I'm on vacation. Okay. Before somebody responds, 7 minutes is up. You're not mitigating that issue. So you want to do automation to process that. The event comes over, go through the workflow manager, and then develop something in the router automation kit on what the process and flow is. And maybe through the router automation kit, access the REST and gRPC APIs and tell them the corrective action to find out more details about that. And then send it through the workflow using CNC or NSO to update the configuration on the routers. And hopefully those routers are running a provision with Trust Insights, iOS 6.7, so that this way you make very 100% sure the network is very secure from all levels, right? The OSI stack, the hardware, all the way up to the application level. Okay, and then route leak protection, and then manage role assigning. Role assigning is, I have a passport. I am going on the network. Oops, it expired yesterday. Some people say, oh, they check your ID, and the expired ID is not good, but this is a good way to make sure it's up to date, because probably around the world, all the large major service providers are very keen on getting their RPKI infrastructure up to date. ROP policy, resource key public infrastructure. So this is a use case as part of the smart peering management on the BGP side. The other part of the smart peering management is more about traffic engineering. Sharing a case over here, right? We just talked about network insights, how we can help people ensure the presence is there. And with traffic analysis, this is the middle component of the software that requires a CDG, and then we collect information. This is a little bit more work, but this CDG installation takes about a half hour to do. It's very easy. You have to open up some ports on the firewall, so it's very efficient. And then using NSO, manual provisioning, depending on the customer. And also, once you know what the internet gateway is going to look like on how much traffic is traversing this network, you have multiple internet gateways. Some of them are running hot. You can load balance. But if you load balance, is that going to impact your network on the inside? And then if you load balance using, for example, something called the WAN automation engine, which is on the Crosswork portfolio, if you load balance the traffic on the inside, is that going to impact your internet gateway? So many times, what are you optimizing for? And then through the APIs, you got to figure out if it's important during this time, the internal network, if it's important during the evening for eyeball networks, or when the outside event happens, how is that going to impact your internet gateway traffic, and then conversely impacting on the inside of the network. So it's a multivariable optimization process. And so these are complicated things, but it's through automation, integration, it's going to be very good, because we have all the analytics information to help people make a very informed decision. Through Workflow Manager, Router Automation Kit, and provisioning through CNC and NSO. Okay, so these are some of the use cases on the traffic net flow perspective, right? It's a multi-vendor solution. I don't know if we support, of course, Cisco, Huawei, Nokia, and Juniper, all the different gears. And then we have demo accounts that you can have access on dCloud. And there are many ways to get your hands on this. And then we have a lab at 1:30, hands-on lab to see the solution in action. Okay, so some of the use cases that we do, working with Workflow Manager, even WAN Automation Engine, and then going through the Router Automation Kit, right? This is how you can model every company's internal processes to make the network sing for you, right? Traffic congestion remediation. We have some customers using traffic analysis. They monitor 25 of our internet gateways. Anytime it goes over 80%, they kick off a process, get an alert, and then uses NSO eventually, and then send a new configuration down to the network. Right? Optimization recommendation. In case a particular interface is running hot, within traffic analysis, we can do integrate recommendations to say move some traffic based on these prefixes to reduce the utilization level, and then so on and so forth. And then using the traffic matrix from traffic analysis to help out one automation engine, and of course anomaly alerts. Anomaly alerts, what's that? So this is one of the security sides of traffic analysis. You have traffic that is going into high-risk sites with ASNs or prefixes. And then if it's 0, it's great, but if it's very minute, you just want to pay attention to that and maybe block it on the network somewhere, somehow. Okay. Excellent. And I think that is it. Thank you very much. I hope you now have a good idea of what Crosswork Cloud is. And any questions? I have some shirts to give out, and can stay for that one.
So for the on-prem solution to work with the cloud, what is the minimum components I need? Do I need the full Crosswork suite that you had, or can I just have the NSO part or the other parts? Or
you can have just NSO. These are all individual. Just really depends on what you have. So you probably have a lot of customers who have deployed these solutions. So whatever exists. So even a third party. But we just send the events and then REST API and gRPC. Yes? Answer your question?
Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Any more questions? No? Cool. Thank you very much. 给下一个人。